stuff, man. It is. Let me get this off here for right now. We are in northern Michigan. My name's Ryan. We're working in the greenhouse. I've got it is October 8th. So it's October 8th. And we are going to be working on stuff that I'm going to be starting here in the greenhouse. Got a few things that I got to get through, but we're going to be looking at I've got some lettuce with you saw in the thumbnail. I got a few started here. Those are going to get transplanted. I got a whole nother tray of lettuce I'm going to get started. I've got some onions we're going to get started. What else am I going to go on? There's a few other things as we go along. We got some work here in the greenhouse, so yeah, it's a big thing. So again, my name's Ryan. Come here live on YouTube pretty consistently. Usually in honestly more in the winter months, in the spring, a little bit during the season, in my greenhouse and out in the garden working on stuff. Well, this year I have insulation in all sorts of spots here to where we are going to have year-round basically growing in here. So I didn't have anything through the summer because I had the full garden out here. You guys can see, like, there's my garden out there through the greenhouse, right? All sorts of stuff with my chickens and everything. So it's growing out there, but now we're moving into here where I want to make sure I have stuff growing on a consistent basis here in the greenhouse. And greens are a great way to do that. I'm in northern Michigan. I'm along Lake Michigan, and part of the the deal with that is that we are in a subtropical type climate. So what that means is we get the heat and the humidity. It's just part of the deal. So, but during the winter, we get the extremely cold weather coming through. And this year they're calling for a whole bunch of snow. Like they're saying that we're supposed to get dumped on this winter. And there's a good possibility considering how warm it's been here for the longest. Like we're in October here and it was 85 2-3 days ago. So what that means is the lake is staying even warmer for longer. Okay, and what that does, that has a dramatic effect on snow totals and how much we're getting dumped on, right? Like that's the idea. So yeah, it's definitely a thing, but I am glad that here in the greenhouse going to get after it. But with that, we got that temperate climate. I've got my greenhouse, which allows me, you back over here, buddy. Come here. Allows me to have vegetables growing year round, and we're taking advantage of that. Like I've got my some Brussels sprouts, and I got a few things out there right now that are finishing up the season, which is just fine. Is what we want. So okay, well let's get after it here. So things that we're going to be doing today, like I said, we've got a transplant. We're going to be moving these lettuce that I have, this lettuce that currently right here, and we'll be going through this individually as we do it. We'll be going through those, getting those transplanted here shortly. That'd be great. So hey, it's going real well. Hey Frankie, how are you? Hey, by the way, how's the audio? Am I doing okay? The other day it was a bit too loud, and so I had to make some adjustments. Want to make sure. Yeah, things are going well here. It's we finally had a cold front come through, which dropped the temperature down, which is great. In the greenhouse here, we're living as sweet, awesome. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, no, but it was like it's 77 here in the greenhouse. We are rocking and rolling. And got some work to do today. So I was able to finish up my work. I'm a business coach by trade. A lot of you may have seen, if you see me, you'll see my small business news videos if you subscribe, which I hopefully earned your subscription today. So you'll see that. So I finished up all my work with my clients this morning, had a little bit of work at the coffee shop, and then I'm here, want to be able to get this done. So audio is great here too. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, it's already been a great day. It's already been a good day. It's just getting better. So again, to go over the plan here for everybody's jumping on right now, we've got some lettuce that we need to transplant. They're ready to move up into their next spot here. So let me be old man and get my glasses on here. But I'll show you what I look for when it's ready to transplant. I don't know if you guys can see the bottom of this one. Where's it at? You got a little root coming down there. See that little root down there in that one? Well, that lets me know that these guys have at least got their tap roots down to the point where I can transplant them into, and they need to move into larger pots. For their next phase. And all we're really going to do with that is all these bonnies. Oh, come here, you. Let me get down to the bonnie. I've got a bunch of these from, like I keep track of all these, and they're just going to move them up into our pint spot. And what these are going to fill out enough for this variety. So for lettuce, just as a reminder for everyone, because there's a lot of folks that don't know, Lettuce in particular is with the stuff we eat is a junior variety, like it's an immature variety. It's immature when we eat it, so it's still like let's say it's very young, and then before it hits puberty, which is called bolting, when it gets high, and then all of a sudden your lettuce will grow to be about yay tall, right? So we eat it, but when it's prior to puberty, I guess would be a way to say that we're gonna chomp on it. So it doesn't need as much space, and this is gonna be more than enough room for it to fill out and be ready for us, so we have fresh greens throughout the year. And that's the idea here. I got this greenhouse. We're in northern Michigan. These are gonna be coming down basically every day now. They've been open all summer, so we're just going to move that over to where now they're going to be closed so we can maintain the temperature in here and keep these safe. Now, lettuce is interesting because lettuce can get down into a little bit below freezing. It can make it to 30 degrees and it'll get a little crunchy, a little burnt, but it'll be fine. So we have that. I've got some, I'm going to attempt next week to get some spinach started, because spinach is also another thing there. And yeah, call the police. I love it. So actually my greenhouse does great in the winter. It's, you can't necessarily see it, but I'll walk out real quick. You're fine. It's insulated. I have it insulated on basically four, actually it's 3.5 of the sides during the winter, like right here. So we were in here during the snow. We had snowpack up to here last year, and we were in here just fine. So, and I'll throw insulation once we get into like winter. I'm going to throw insulation along here as well, and there'll be bubble wrap all along here. So we basically double up. So, and then I have a heater, this guy right here, that is set to kick on anytime it drops below 40 degrees. So I have a full setup. It's good. So that's what I mean. When we're here in the wintertime, we're out here in the snow. I'm trudging through the snow and getting a path going to make sure the stuff's going, because I've got a lot of stuff that I get growing for myself, for my mom. I've got neighbors, and then the neighborhood as well, because I provide. This year was the first time we did it. I have a vegetable stand that is free. Basically, it's donation only. It's that, whatever they want to give. Where I put, it was north of 30 bushels worth of vegetables, between cucumbers, tomatoes, beans, you name it. It's more than 30. It's got to be close to 40 bushels out of my garden that was able to go out. So I have a lot, and also have a lot of flowers that we start as well too. That's a whole deal. So let me find this. Where is my bucket at? Here we go. Sorry about that, guys. All right, here we go. Should have had this in there. All right. Lowe's is not a sponsor for today's stream, but if they would love to sponsor, I'm always willing to take their money. So, all right. So here's what we're gonna do. We have got to get these transplanted. Now the thing we do here, and this is just where we go, is I don't like to use. I always just buy. I mean, you can make your own, and there's lots of folks that do. They make their own potting soil. I just go get this stuff, but I always cut it. I never just do potting soil. So what I cut it with is cocoa noir, which is basically just the coconut husk that's been compressed. It's been shredded and compressed down. That, I don't know if I want to use this whole thing today. Well, it's all right. We'll get it going. Well, in order to get it started, though, to get it going, you got to get it moisturized first. All basically set. So we're gonna get this thing soaked so it can start breaking apart. And then we're going to mix in my potting soil, which would be great. And now what that does is it allows me to use less potting soil. But what's great about this the cocoa noir, it absorbs a ton of water, holds on to it. So I don't have to be out here watering as much, even though like I bottom, I have trays where everything would be bottom watered at to keep things hydrated. It just makes it easier for me. I don't have to be out here as much. I'm still paying attention, obviously, but it is what it is. But you can see it's already kind of getting that, but give you guys a look at what this stuff looks like. And you can see just how quickly it breaks apart. But you can see it's got all these all the fibers and all the goodness in there. Well, this, when I cut this basically about half and half with the potting soil, because this cocoa noir, like this stuff, like one box of this gets me through most of the season for my starts. So that's fine. Now, one thing also I want to put out here, let you guys know, we're going to be using, for as far as for lettuce, I do have some, I have some that I've, this little gem. I like to have this going just because it's tasty. The little crunch lettuce, right? Little butter lettuce. Great for, great to have around. But in here, it's not eggplant. What I did is the lettuce that I had growing out, the different types of lettuces that I had growing, I went and let them go to seed, and I put them in the freezer over the weekend. So that way they've had a chance to kind of do what they need to do. And we're going to seed a whole bunch of these trays with our lettuce seeds that we had from in the garden here. You know, we ain't got to pay for them, pay for extra lettuce seeds. And usually the like the germination rate isn't the best with them, it's fine. That's not a big deal. As long as, so I basically, I just overload the pods with all sorts of seeds. So whichever ones germinate, and then we just go from there. So yeah, I've got, and of the lettuce that there's a black seeded Simpson, which is really good. If you haven't, it's nice. It's got just a little bit of bitter to it, which is nice. Like one of my favorites. All right, so this is half of this guy right now, which I think we're gonna call good. So you can see I've got basically just half of it right here. I'm gonna put this guy over here and just kind of let her go back and dry out some. Then we're gonna come in here and fill this up with our potting soil. So one thing for those that don't know, when you are doing potting soil, right, and you're doing your thing with it, you want to give, you know how it doesn't like to absorb water, like you put in, the water rolls off. Well, what my best known practice here is we actually pre-soak the potting mix. All right, so we're gonna load this whole thing up, and I'm gonna dump a bunch of water in there, mix it up, and let it just do its thing there. Which is, again, like I said, is the best known practice for this. Which is gonna allow you, so it just makes it easier, right? So you gotta add water anyways, just add it ahead of time. All right. So there's that. I got this thing about, I'd say about 3/4 full right now. And I'm just gonna dump a bunch of water in it, give it a mix, and we're gonna call that good. So we can start transplanting. Now, for those that haven't been on here before, now typically I'm usually later in the day when I do this, but today's a little bit different. I've got some time, like I said, finished, so I thought I'd hop in early. And normally, when we're doing the greenhouse streams, I don't do it over mobile like this. We're actually going to be, I have a full system. I'm bringing my laptop. Once I have another set of shelves set up right now, I'll have my full laptop in here, have multiple cameras. I'll probably do a stream mobile while I'm setting it up so you guys can see. But I have a top view camera that's right on top of these things while we're working. And then there's also where you guys are watching me here. So we try to have it where you guys get the full experience, just to make sure it's good, That's just how we operate here. I think it's just better. All right, so like I said, and what we're doing this now is just I'm mixing up and getting our that cocoa noir mixed in here and just incorporated throughout the pottings mix, which is going to, like I said, enhance our ability to retain water in this potting soil, which is super important, right? I can't overstate it. It doesn't have a lot of nutrients in that, but that's not what it's there for. The pot, and the thing is too, end of the day, we're not looking for something that is as intense. We're not going to be growing these things for months on end. The lettuce will be done here in 60 days, give or take. So it's only got to have enough nutrients in this, basically in this pot, in this, to get us through for a little bit, which is more than enough. Okay. So best known practice again on this is we're going to fill this guy up. Again, just kind of show you where we're at. I'm going to move you guys a little closer while I'm working here, if that's all right. There we go. Come on over. Come on closer, guys. Pretend like we like each other, right? Okay. So we got to fill to here. And I should have my tool here. So this, here you go. So I have this tool set from Organo Republic. It came with this. Actually, still have it out, amazingly enough. I know it's backwards for y'all, but with this set I got from Amazon, Organo Republic 55 seeds. It comes with a little toolkit. And in the toolkit, it had this thing, this weird looking fork, useless thing. But it has this, and this little scoop, what it's designed to do, we're just gonna go right in here. It's designed to go into these the 1 inch little pods there and pull everything out. And you can see our root growth that we have here, okay? That this is going. And this is why it's time to transplant these, because we're getting enough of the roots spread out there, but we don't want to get these guys root bound. It's not like, again, they're only going to be around for a few months. It's not like it's a huge deal. However, we still want to make sure we take care of them, right? And what we're going to do, so to show you guys, we're going to fill this up. And the one thing you don't have to worry about too much with your seedlings, you still want to be nice to them, but it's okay if they're pretty robust. They're going to make adjustments. You just get them in there, get set. We got them planted in here. There we go. Off to the races. And this is going to be, and these are all butter lettuce. That's everything that's coming up here is that delicious butter lettuce. And what we do, so I know this looks weird, but I got some seeds in here that I wanted this thing to, this is how I save seeds. They actually got to have, when it comes to tomatoes, you want them to ferment a little bit. So that's going to be for another stream, kind of go, I may do a video on that just to kind of talk people through that. I've got some tomatoes that my wife, who does clean some houses, one of the guys that she works with or works for, has some really big old tomatoes, delicious ones that he's grown for years, and sent her home with tomatoes, so I have some seeds. So anyways, so we're gonna place these just in here like this. I'll just put them over here so you guys kind of keep an eye on them. And we're gonna fill this entire tray up, and then we're gonna water in the tray, which will then absorb up into the plants, right? Because we don't really need to be watering down on them, right? That's not necessarily a thing. And that's where you want to have with this, with these, and we're gonna do the exact same here when we replant. Like with this, when you start your seeds, you want to get, if you're buying the seed starting sets, always get the seed starting set that has this tray, like this tray, and then it has the 1 inch that goes inside of there, and then, you know, if you can get them where it's got the cover on there, right? But like in this case, I got a greenhouse. If I do this and that, we're gonna roast the seeds, so we don't want to do that. But that's great if you don't have a greenhouse, just to make, you know, because it makes a little greenhouse, right? We don't want to double up on greenhouses. We start getting into that inception stuff, and that's just not good. So, all right, so that's one done. On to our next one here. All right, fill this out. I'm gonna break this guy up. Like I said, what you want to do is when you fill it up there, just make a little pocket the best that you can. It's not a huge deal. Just helps for the seedling when you're transplanting it to have a nice little pocket for it to land into, you know. There we go. Okay, you guys, you can see that. There we go. Got that root growth. That's good stuff right there. That is a nice, healthy plant. We love that for this plant. Okay, we're going to come in and just try to save as much of this soil as I can, because we're going to dump what we have in here, remix it up here in a second. Get that out. Okay, there we go. Looking good. Now again, for this lettuce, this is for me and the redhead to have, so I just got fresh greens growing, but also for my chickens, every now and again, just throw them, especially when obviously it's going to be winter here soon, covered, you know, everything's going to be covered in snow and dead and brown and yuck. Just to have some fresh greens for the chicks, they'll appreciate that. I know that for sure. So everything we can do to help them out there. What is going on here? All right. A little bit more. But yeah, good stuff. So it was a really good year in the garden. I can tell you that much, guys. Like, it was exceptionally good in the garden. Like, in a lot of production. There was some things that went well, some things that didn't. One of the things I was really disappointed with was, I mean, I had so many tomatoes. This is not a complaint about tomatoes, but I had so many tomatoes. However, I could have probably had maybe 50% more. There was a mix-up in the labeling on some of the seeds that I got. It's weird, to where I ended up with a whole bunch of cherry tomatoes when I only started 4. I ended up with close to 10. So that really messed up production, like for my, for the, for what would be for canning and other stuff, which, that happens, whatever, is what it is. But, if that's the worst thing that happens, like, oh no, I grew cherry tomatoes and they did really well and they got big. So, by the way, I appreciate everybody hitting like. Thank you for that. Hopefully, I earn your subscription too. And also, if you know anybody who is interested in gardening or learning about these type of things, be sure to share, share the video as well. So, this guy got to be careful with. He's right on the edge, too close to the edge, right? And then we got these root here systems. So, good stuff. Good stuff. Oh yeah, we're cruising today, guys. If I get done with this in a decent amount of time, which I think I will, we're actually going to go out into the garden. I'm going to play around. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do, so this is going to be a bit of a figuring it out stream too. I want to build kind of like a little cover shade for my chickens. So this winter they have, they can go out but they're under cover per se. The big thing they're always worried about if they're going to have any. We have hawks and bald eagles all over the place that just look at the chickens and they're like, man, that's a buffet. I'm going to get me some fresh chicken, right? They're going to come in. So we want to make sure that they've got some cover so they feel a little more comfortable. So again, I've got some stuff I'm going to work with on that and we'll see if we can figure out. So yeah, again, this is really about the point where you want to be transplanting them. As soon as you can get this to this stage, get them out because they start getting the difference in growth. Actually, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save this one, and I'm gonna show you the difference of when you don't do this transplanting at the right time. Again, don't sweat it too much. It does put the growth behind, but it's not like it's the end of the world and you're a terrible person. Not like that. It's just just from a growth phase until you can get them to where they're going to be edible, right? Or ready for harvest, I think is the better phrase. Because we can munch on these right now. They would be microgreens and we could charge $1 billion for it. Right. All right. So this guy here is way, way, way small, but I'm going to show you. This is why we do this transplanting as quickly as possible. As soon as we see those roots starting to poke under, as soon as I see the first one, it's time to go. So if I were to wait, right, and we were just let these go for another, take half of them out and leave the other half in here and just compare notes, in 2 weeks, this would be like the difference in growth that you would see. These would be the ones that were stuck in the pods really tiny, and then they'd be growing big here. And that's why we want to get it, because they need as much of this, excuse me, they need all that space to grow the roots to be able to grow and get big. When they're in these pods, they're meant to start and then move them out as quickly as possible. You want to have that. Now, that's being said, Ryan, why don't you just start them in these big old monstrous things here? Well, because it's an awful lot of stuff to water. Like this has as much as like 10 of these pods. So like that's the other thing. It gives you a chance to start. You can just kind of manage it better. And then once they're germinated up, move them into the big one. Plus it gives me a chance to come out here and talk with you guys a little bit too. We love that, right? Love that for us. All right. So again, folks that are just joining, this one's got some good growth. Good the legs on that. Now, this is a good opportunity to show you some other stuff too. Do you see how the roots are holding on to the soil there? You can give me a thumbs up, give me a like, give me a note in the chat here that you see this here. Now, what's happening here, these roots, what they do is they actually have glue on them. Like that's what roots do. They, on top of everything else, that's one of the things we love them for maintaining soil. They actually produce a glue which helps to hold soil together, right? So that's what's happening there. That's why you see that happening. So that's a good sign. That's good, healthy root structure there. We love that. Now, there's some other stuff you can do. So, like, for instance, one thing you can see, especially when it comes to potting soil and the stuff you're putting together, guys, is, you'll see people that sift their potting soil. I'm not one of those people, but if you want to sift, you can. And there's reasons that you would want to sift. Like, for instance, this is straight out of the potting soil. Like, that's, it's bark that you have in there, which isn't good, right? The roots hit that and they don't know what to do. I don't do it. I try to, if I see the big pieces when I'm actually filling these out, I do remove them, but I try not to worry about it too much. And it's just because, yes, the roots, you do want to help them out, and you can. I just it hasn't been that big of a deal to affect my overall development and growth for my plants, so I don't really sweat it. And again, this is a butter style lettuce, like a Boston butter, if you've ever had it. So you'll see here's a great example. So you see this right here? We got this wood chip in here. We're gonna take it out now that we see it. All right, got a couple in there, but it didn't cause any problems. We still got all sorts of growth happening here. Okay, so just we don't worry about it. And that again, one of the key things that we have here on our streams, folks, we don't worry. Worrying is the last thing you want to do when you're gardening, right? Because you're gardening. We're out here to not worry. We're here to chill, right? And live our best lives. But also, worrying, it doesn't make these things grow any faster. So just not do that. We're not going to worry. We're not going to worry. That's what other people do. That's not what we do here, okay? So where's everybody at? Just curious. I'm in northern Michigan. Living my best life. Let me see what the temperature is inside this greenhouse right now. Ooh, 88 degrees. Love it. 88 degrees up in this joint right here. But it's, I think it's 60 out right now. 54, 60, something like, I can't remember exactly what the temperature was. So that's one of the reasons that I also love my greenhouse too, right? Because it's cold up here in Michigan. Like we're down in 0 degrees and it'll be 60 in this thing. Oh, it's so great. All right, so I'm gonna do this by hand, just kind of show you, move this around. So you can see we got our root structure there looking really good, looking really good. So these guys are gonna fill up this thing real quick, and we're gonna end up with show you up here, lettuce that's gonna be about yay big, like a nice little ball right here for each one of these. That's gonna be great to be able to have that available for us and the fam to do it. Now, but anyways, where are you guys at? Just curious. I'm in Michigan. I've been having a lot of folks on from a lot of Florida people lately, hanging out on the stream. Had some Australians. What was it? 2 days ago, 2 or 3 days ago, we had some Australians on the stream. That was fun. They're getting ready. So Australia is getting ready to head into their summer. So, what I'm doing now, their folks are doing in Australia, getting ready for their summer season. Their prime production, and I'm getting ready for like low level production here. But same thing's going on. So there's always good there. All right. So let's see. So I am a member of our school board, our local school board too. And last night we had to do an election for our local school board, and it was so great. And this is just, I want to give a little bit of advice out there to anybody who's looking to join a board, looking to get, to be involved in things like that. One, make sure you do it. It's awesome just to be involved in the boards. It's intimidating to, at first, because you're dealing with all the different stuff. You may not be familiar with boards and what it's like in the public sphere, and that's fine. You can work through that. But once you get in there, you're able to affect positive change, which is great. And really just make sure the kids are taken care of, or whatever board you want to do. But the one thing I want to bring up is that if you're going onto a board and you're interviewing with the board, right, to possibly be brought in, what you shouldn't do is be adversarial with the board. And we had that last night, and it didn't go well. Because we're at every board meeting, and the stuff that individual is bringing up, we're like, yo, man, that has been addressed it was addressed like 4 boards later, and they were working off of some older stuff rather than coming in from a place of curiosity. They were coming in from a place of like accusation and like anger, and that's never good. We don't do that on our boards. So, but with that, man, we have had all sorts of goodness. We got our electric buses getting delivered. So real quick, I'm going to come back to the board thing in a second. So when I started this, I actually had 2 lettuces growing in here. Okay. So this guy is our, experiment. So we thinned it out. And that's one of the things other reasons why when you're doing the transplant here, you get a chance to thin stuff out. But with that, we're going to, oh, that's good stuff, folks. Oh man. One of my favorite things to do is just get a taste of these things. Specific, like when I'm getting herbs going, because I will get oregano and basil. I've got a big old basil bush out there right now that I've got to over the next couple days. I've got to get and trim out the rest and dry it out. So for basil for the rest of the year. Yeah, I wonder if I could try to transplant it. I didn't think about that. I wonder if I can't. No, it's too late. I let it go to seed. So it's going to seed right now because I'm going to harvest the seeds and then get some new basil started. But anyways, I love doing that because, the little microgreens for the herbs to have fresh basil or oregano, it's got that nice pop to it. Really good. All right. So anyways, finishing up here. These guys all look good. He's been transplanted. All right. So we got these guys. These guys here are all set. So what we're going to do. All right. So we've got them in this spot here. I'm going to bring this closer so you guys can see. I'm going to come to you guys. That's what we're going to do. So here's our lettuce. It's been transplanted, and we're going to seed some of the our next round of lettuce. Get that started. But to get out in front of this, do I want to water? I got little bit of electronics here for the stream underneath there. This is why I need to get my other shelves set up. Let me move this. Okay, there we go. That almost was a thing. We avoided catastrophe there, folks. All right, so with this, what we're going to do is I'm just going to fill this up, load this up with water. Now, so the first time you do this, it's going to be thirsty. It's going to soak up a bunch of the water. So just be prepared for that. And I'm going to move this now, but you can see we've got it filled up. Just going to move it out of the way here. Just set it over yonder and let it do its thing. I need something to hold that up real quick. Where are they at? Here we go. With my greenhouse here, sorry, I got some work I got to do over here. I got one of my reflective things here is coming down, so there we go. Just want to make sure I got the little clip to hold it up there. Okay, anywho, so those guys there are done. Now we're going to get started on our next round of plantings here, which are going to be half and half lettuce, or two different types of lettuces going in. But to get started, I'm just going to take all the stuff that didn't go. If you guys can see me or not, I'm clearing out, basically just dumping all the pods back in here. Make sure these are empty. And we're going to refill them after I mix this up. We're just going to reintegrate those pods that nothing was really growing in them because of the germination rate. So we're just going to consolidate them back in here, and then we're going to refill this. So this is what I was talking about before. When you get your potting soil, right? So we got our potting soil, just your standard potting soil. It does not like to absorb water. It hates it, right? Boo, whatever, just throw it in there. So that's why we pre-moisten everything. So we're not waiting and trying to fumble. And, you'll see folks, and this is probably one of the funniest ones I have. So you'll see folks, like if you go say, hey, and I've seen them on the internet, on YouTube too, it cracks me up. What they'll do is they'll fill this with potting soil, each of these pods with potting soil. They'll fill this thing up with water, like all the way to the brim. Then they'll set this down, float it, and let it take 45 minutes, legitimately 45 minutes, to sit down. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about that. To let it absorb up that way. Or what you can do is put it in a bucket, dump a bunch of water on it, and just force the soaking to happen. Then come in. You basically get yourself back like a half hour, 40 minutes of time. You just come in and fill the pots up. There we go. Look at this, guys. We're cruising. I mean, I guess it could make for some interesting content, I suppose, if we were just sitting here staring at this thing, watching it sink down. No, we don't want to do that. And I don't want you guys to do that either, because we want to have more time, doing other stuff. Because really, at the end of the day, what are we doing here? We're putting seeds in dirt. All right, seeds in wet dirt. So, hey, what's happening, Skippy? How are you? Where you at, Skippy? Where you at in this great world? We're in northern Michigan, getting started on our lettuce for the fall into the winter. But so yeah, that's what I mean. That's like one of the differences here. I couldn't believe it when I saw that on YouTube the first time. I was like, what are they doing? They're letting it just float down? I'm like confused, but you know, well, this way seems easier. So, all right. So what we're going to do here is just kind of go through now. What you want to do is the following. Now for this, now it depends on the seed you're doing too. Okay, so that's the other side. So there's a difference. When you are planting your seeds, what you want to keep in mind when it comes to when it comes to seeds, they want to be thank you, thank you. I will take every bit of prayer I can get. I appreciate that. Yes, we want them big and strong and tasty and nutritious. So what you want to do is understand your seeds. Like that's an important piece here. Let me find that lettuce. Come on, Ryan. Keep your stuff around. Where'd it go? Where did it go? Did I? Lettuce. That's an onion. Here we go, lettuce. Okay, so this is our little gem, like our butter lettuce here, right? So keep in mind, whenever you're doing your seeds, one, it'll tell you exactly. We always read the directions on the back, like where we want. And this has a 1/4 inch depth. So what the standard rule is you want to bury your seeds twice as deep as they are like thick, right? Wide. But lettuce seeds are these tiny little like specks of dust. So really at the end of the day, you're just kind of surface putting them on there and then recoating just a little bit. Okay, so what we're gonna do here, a little bit different, is when I push all this stuff in, right, we're actually gonna come back around and I'm gonna push down on this just lightly, just lightly. And one thing what that's doing is let me check for any like those solid parts, right? No worries there. But it's also gonna make it easier for us to put the seeds down because then it's just easy to lightly cover them back up. But also what we're looking for, and this is the other piece that they don't talk about when you're filling them from the bottom, is by your nature of doing this, you're going to end up with air pockets from time to time. That happens. And you don't want air pockets because those roots, right? They're going down, down. Well, if they hit air, they either have to keep forcing through, but they don't know what to do, right? They're used to being in soil. So that causes stress because now they have to go in a different direction and do other roots to, to stay along the soil track. So we just want to push down real quick, kind of help clear things out. And then we're going to come across here, and I'm going to split this in half. So we're going to have one half is going to be these gems, and the other half is going to be the black-seeded Simpson. I've got another butter lettuce and some mesclun mix all kind of in here. I just grabbed all the seeds together, and there'll be this other half, okay? So what we're going to do is just take these. Oh, actually, I don't need that many. Holy moly. And this package of seeds here is going to last me most of the season pretty easily. I'm not too worried about that. But we're going to put down, a couple in each one. Most of these are fine. Some of these might maybe need to get filled up a little bit, but not too worried about that. And what we're going to do is make sure these all have some in there. And then we're going to lightly cover once we get everybody seated. I'm going to make sure that everybody has a chance, right? So a couple more here. Okay, so like everyone got 5 to 7 seeds. It wasn't, don't worry about it. Like, what is this? It's like $2 for 1,000 seeds. You'll be fine, they're not made out of gold, folks. Now this other one, again, like I mentioned, this is an eggplant. I just had eggplant left over. I've got seeds from outside from all of my other lettuce that I had growing. I let everything go to seed, let everything bolt. Again, just for those that don't, bolting means you is this thing hitting? Is it hitting the mic? I'm gonna put these over here for now. It'd be a thing for a little bit. But anyways, bolting is where the plants get to a certain temperature and time and the lettuce grows up. It gets huge. Like I have some lettuce that I had was almost 5 foot tall this year. It was monstrous. So but anyways, I let that go to seed. One, because it flowers, which is great. We love that. Right? We love that for all of our pollinators. Right? But also it goes to seed. So I get more seed, right? I get for more lettuces because tons of lettuce grow every year. you know, for me and for the chickens and for the fam here and my neighbors. If they need anything, they know they can always come. So we're gonna just dump a bunch in here. Well, the other side of this though too. Matter of fact, I'm gonna save these. So what I did with this, by the way, okay, so the process for this when it comes to harvesting your seeds. So what do I do with my yield? So this summer I actually gave out. I have a vegetable stand for when I have you know, because I don't need that much for me after canning and everything. So the cucumbers, tomatoes, everything I had growing here went out into a vegetable stand to include beans, you name it. That was donation only. So I'm in a very, very rural, poor part of Michigan, and you know, not everybody has access to, well, they have access to land or to fresh vegetables or you know whatever. So I go out of my way to make sure I take care of my neighbors, and one way I do it is by having the vegetable stand. So like I said, it was what is 30 to 40 bushels of goodness that came out of the garden this year that was out there. And you know, I had my Ring camera up, right, so I could keep keep an eye on the stand there because it was donation only. If anybody wanted to throw some money in, you know, to help with the seed fund, you know, is more than that. You know, we had tourists come by here. You know, we're in a very, very touristy area as well. A lot of people have their second homes up here, so we had, you know, lots of neighbors come through. But what was really great was, oh, thank you. No, it's my pleasure. You know, I want to be able to help as many people have access to fresh food as possible. It's so important. I used to be a bigger dude, and you know, I've lost a bunch of weight, but I've gotten healthy. I just understand the importance of being healthy. But with that, I wanted also to have my neighbors who are who need to go to the food bank, but are too proud to go to the food bank. I wanted to make sure they had access to get to vegetables and food and everything, so they could just go and on my Ring camera. The folks that I really wanted to see, and I was hoping were going to come and grab stuff, they were coming in and just loading up and you know going on their way. They actually left donations some of the time, so that's good. So yeah, I'll go. Oh, thank you. No, thank you on that. I appreciate that. Too kind. It's it's one of the reasons I'm here. Like it's one of the reasons that I'm actually back here in this part of the country, back here in Michigan. I want to be able to help out folks where I can. So thank you for that. It's very kind. All right, so next week before I cover this up, I'm just going to dump the last of the water in here. So this has some water for underneath there to kind of help wick up and do these things. After the stream, I'm going to come back and add a little bit more water. Okay, so let's go through and give you guys a look here. So, oh, you're from the mid. Hey, what's happening? Awesome. I'm up in Ludington in that general area there. So that's awesome. So you can see I've got the lettuce seeds that are in there, right? They're all deep in the spot there. And I'm going to just come through now, lightly cover them, right? That's really it. So lightly cover things. And it's really simple as this. We're just putting a nice little sprinkle on top. So, so what is that? Marvla? Is that how you say that name? Oh, your bro lives in Ludington. Your bro must be handsome and charismatic, because I mean that's all we grow around here. So, but anyway, so we're gonna lightly cover this. Now, again, remember these are just like see, that's what I'm saying. See, you know, you get it. But we're gonna lightly cover again. If you remember, the seeds are 1/4 inch depth, right? Because the seeds that they have here are very fine. And you'll see with other ones though, they've got to be at a deeper, you know, much deeper depth. Deeper, yeah, it makes sense. A greater depth. Let's say that. That's probably better. Move to the Philippines. Okay, all right. Nothing wrong with that. Everybody's got to go. I mean, he could, if he wanted Jollibee, he could have just gone to California and get Jollibee, you know, and had the, you know, had the ketchup spaghetti and everything. That, yeah, better bubble tea and everything still. Still have fan in Tragic City, yeah. I moved back here from Portland, Maine. Prior to that, I was in Hawaii and Japan and Guam and everything. So listen, my wife, she makes killer lumpia when she wants to. So yeah, me and Filipino cooking, yeah, go way back on that. That's good stuff. So that's awesome. Join the Philippines. Okay, just stay away from the northern part of the island up there. Islands, I should say. So, okay. So anyways, we got these all set now, folks. So what's going to happen over the next, you know, these will germinate in about 7 to 10 days. It takes a while. Lettuce is one of those funny ones too. It takes a while to germinate. So this will be up in probably in a week to 10 days. And then, you know, we're going to do the same process. So I'll be here. So make sure you subscribe, you know, be sure to like and share as we go through this stuff here. We got that. All right. So I want to do one more little set of stuff here, for all the reasons. So let's do this guy. I think maybe this is the answer. Is this the answer? Will this work? What is? I think so. I think this is the one I want. Let me look at this for a second. All right. Oop, sorry, buddy. I got the weirdest looking bug in here. Like legit, the weirdest looking bug. Is that gonna? Nope, that won't work. I can do that. That's fine. We're gonna get some. I'm gonna get some onions started too. So we're gonna just do a few onions since we got it. Dearborn School, Redford. Oh, take care. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thanks for swinging by, man. Appreciate it. So hopefully we'll see you around. Hopefully we'll see you around. We'll be here. All right. So I want to get some. Let's see, artichoke. My artichokes are huge. We're gonna actually go look at those in a second here. Oh, I got bunching onion right here. Cool, 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 cool. So we're gonna do these. We got some bunching onions we're gonna have. They're gonna be great. I love that. And we're gonna do the exact same thing here. Like I said, I'm gonna come back and re-water all these. That'll be good. So let's do this over here. Keep moving back this way so you guys can. I keep in frame for y'all. It's a little more difficult to do these streams like this, like in the greenhouse on those. So hopefully the picture is good. Hopefully you guys are kind of seeing the action, what's going on. And yeah, if you guys got questions, anything about what I'm doing or why I'm doing it, please just ask away, because if you have the question, chances are good someone else has those exact same questions. Let me see real quick. Okay, cool. All right, just I'm still, I'm business coach. I was just double checking. Picture great. Thank you. All right. Yeah, I actually ran a Wi-Fi. So I'm out here away from the house. I actually ran an external Wi-Fi. So when I'm on my mobile, I can have better. I actually have a Cat 6 cable that I run out here for my laptop when I'm doing the full like live stream in the evenings. Once I get that set up again with an actual AI camera and a couple cameras going, it's a full setup. So whole thing. It's a whole thing. All right, so let's get these guys going. So with these onions, I'm going to get them started in here. And the onions I'm growing specifically, I'm only growing them for the for green onions. So I have stuff for I make a lot of ramen and a lot of Asian cooking. Go figure, right? We were just talking about the Philippines. So I make a lot of stuff, and I like to have access to lots of green onions, to be able to just trim those up and have that, because gosh darn it, it's delicious. Hey, buddy. Come here, you. Let's get you out of there. Come on. Get out, buddy. There you go. Go live your best life, bug. So, all right. So again, just like we had before, it's real simple. We're just filling these up to a certain point. We're going to load them up with the onion seeds and then do their thing. Give me the same process. Fill them up. We're going to tamp them down, and then we'll cover them up. But yeah, I'm from a family of farmers. I went in the military for 20 years, so I was gone for a bit. And, it wasn't, the plan was always to kind of get to a point where I could start getting some sort of garden going. I got to Maine, we couldn't really find property I could afford. I had a lot of land that was nearby where we wanted to live. So that was always a thing. But then we got to Michigan here. I got a half-acre lot in town. I'm here to help take care of my mom too. She's getting older. I want to make sure she's got folks that are around. Be helpful. But since I was in this area, that means I had an opportunity to get this garden. We're gonna take a look at the garden here. I do have time, it looks like. Yeah, we're gonna have time. Go work and play around a little bit, see if I can put together a structure. You guys get to watch me fumble around a little bit while we do that. Probably bring the chickens back over and let you guys hang out with the chicks too while we're doing this. So anyways, to where this garden, it's 25 by 50. It's not a huge garden, mind you. So that's what I mean. To get 40 bushels out of that thing, it was producing this year. But to be able to have that, the goal was always to be in a place to where I could, create, what am I trying to say here? Oh, where I was going to be able to produce at a level that was going to be, that was going to allow me to feed my neighbors, right? To be able to help and then provide for myself too. Because man, there's nothing better than like fresh cucumbers and tomato salad. It's so good, especially if you have herbs that you've grown too. Okay, so as always, we're going to take a look, right? I'm going to read on the back here. We got our stuff. It's going to tell us what to do here. So, I am 47 years old, so I do have to borrow my glasses to read a little bit here. That was a sad day, because it was a sad day too, because it was, it was years ago, but it was one day I'm perfectly fine, and the next day I woke up and everything was blurry and sadness enveloped me. Ooh, that stuff. Oh, hey, we're not doing that today, Mr. B. Go that way. All right, so 65 to 70 days for harvest on that, which they won't get to because they'll be trimming ahead of time. So again, these are 1/4 inch depth that they have on here for these onion seeds. So we're going to take a look at them. And like I said, onions, for all seeds, you basically bury them twice, twice as deep as they are, or as they are in width. So there's your onion seeds. Hey, Southern UK, how's it going, Carol? Welcome. Good to have you on here. Good to have you on here. So we are kind of finishing up here in the greenhouse, getting all my stuff started here. We're gonna be actually out in the garden here in a second, trying to figure out and come up with an idea for some cover for my chickens. I want them to still be out in the wintertime, to have some cover to protect them from the hawks, and also just so they feel more comfortable. Okay. So anyway, so what we're gonna do is we got these are 2x1, so these are 2 inch by 1 inch. That's 2x1, so that's freedom units for everybody. If it's in, what is that going to be, 5x 2.5 in whatever the rest of the world measurements, centimeters, I guess. So I think that's what the math works out to. So we got 2x1 here. So I'm just going to load up a group of seeds in here. Actually, I want to go back to lettuce for a second, okay? Because I kind of glazed over something. So the lettuce, the seeds, right? We let my lettuce go to seed here. I collected it and then I put it in the freezer for a week, okay? And I believe the phrase that's called is stratification. You're stratifying them, because for mini seeds, they actually have to go through the process of freezing to be viable to germinate. They won't germinate, or they have a very, very, very low germination rate unless they are stratified, I think is the word. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's it. So I put them in the freezer to make sure that they went through that process, and I put them in for a week. And you'll have that with I have that with a lot of my like my flowers. Like my flowers that I do, they all have to be done that way. That has to be done. But with a lot of vegetable stuff, you can kind of get away with it, but it's always a good practice to do. All right, because that's how the circle of life, and they've been, they have evolved. That's the phrase I want to use to be able to do. All right, so now we're just going to put a light coating on top of all these, just something simple, just to kind of cover them. Again, we're covering just enough so that they're there. Get that log out of there. Goodness gracious, that was a big piece. All right. And don't worry if you end up putting that, a little over a 1/4 inch, or even, my goodness, a 1/2 inch of depth. Don't worry about it. They'll be fine. They know what they're doing. The seeds will be like, oh, I just got to go a little bit further. That's fine. They're fine with it. But when it comes to the plants first, their first initial, where they're growing, they're pushing up to get obviously to the sun, right? For the leaves, but they have all the energy they need really for that first full growth phase. So don't worry about that extra bit that they got to go. Like, they're fine. It's not gonna hurt anybody's feelings. They're gonna be just fine. Okay. So there we go. We've got onions. Those are started. We don't need these peppers. We can go there. So we got onions. We got our lettuce that we transplanted here, right? And this is a butter lettuce. It's doing its thing, so we are good there. I'm gonna close the door up on the greenhouse here so we can go out yonder and go do stuff. But what's great about so in here, it'll be 100 degrees in this greenhouse. 110 is within moments of me closing this door up, because it's chilly out here today, folks. Whew, it is chilly. I have not closed this up. Let me turn this on too. I have if you guys can see it here, I have solar powered fans that kick on when it is 90 degrees in there. So it keeps the temperature where it needs to be at. So again, if you haven't already, please hit subscribe if you like to see gardening stuff. I got more stuff to do here. We're gonna head out in the garden here. So if you please hit that. Don't forget to hit thumbs up if you like what's going on, and be sure to share this. If there's folks that you know in your life you think would benefit from, again, coming in and being able to have, questions to just a random garden dude, I'm here for you. Okay. All right. So let's talk about what we had here. These are finishing up here. This is the last of my tomatoes. Um, this is my personal stuff that I had here, so I didn't really give a lot of this away, stuff that I could get after. But you can see I've got my let's bring this down here. We got our marigolds. They're finishing up, and again, for those that don't know, I always love to show this on here. There is $500 worth of seeds easily on here right now. So if you would like to have seeds for next year, you can go to your garden center. Shh, don't tell anyone, or wherever they have. And when you see your, right? So there's a deader than dead marigold seed right there. Head. If you just grab this piece right here and pull, there's one package of marigold seeds right there. So this, when it's done, turns into those. And yeah, so it's that simple. Look, we got more. Tons of them. You don't have to worry about them, okay? And they're goofy looking too, by the way. If you've ever seen a marigold seed, if you guys can see that or not, it's like a needle, right? And they fall down and do that, and they stick and stuff. That's their entire gig. But you can just see I'm not worried about it. I've got marigolds all over this place. But you can just keep on grabbing. They're everywhere, okay? So yeah, good stuff. All right, so we're gonna get the chickens. I'm gonna set you guys up here so you can kind of watch as the chickens. We can do the chicken parade as they're coming back over from from here on this side of the property. Come on, girls. You guys ready? You guys ready? Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Hey, we got places to be, girls. Let's go. Let's go. Hustle up now. Yeah. I know. I hear you. Let's not be dumb. Nope. Let's go. Get in there. Get in there. Don't worry. Don't worry. It's just the camera. Come on. Go. There we go. Isn't that fun? There you go. A little chicken wrangling for your viewing pleasure today. Okay. So this is the run where the chickens hang out at. It's got some work I got to do to shore it up a bit for the winter. We're actually going to be blocking it off. Let me put this over here. Hey, what's happening? What's up, Flavor Daddy? Good to see you. So let me just find a spot for you here. Okay, so we're actually going to be covering up. I'm going to be picking up some more OSB and blocking these areas off here, and around. We're going to have winter and snow and everything coming up here in a little bit. So I just want to make sure this is going to be covered off to protect them. Like, that's the idea. So today, what we're going to be doing, I got my knife. I think I'll be okay. Actually, I'm going to go grab something real quick. A little easier for me to manipulate these things. Oh, so loud. Chickens are so loud. This guy here. We are just going to do a little maintenance on our sunflowers here and kind of set up here. So yeah, life is good now. We've been doing good work. We just got you just missed out on the greenhouse. We were we transplanted a bunch of lettuce today. Got some more lettuce started. I don't mean to like, but we got more lettuce started today, and I got some onions started too, so that's good. All right, so with that, what we're gonna be doing is setting this up. So this is my sunflower stalks. Look at these monstrosities. All right, I'm gonna be basically do my best to try to keep as much of this stuff on here as I can. And on the other side of the chicken coop over here, for the run, I might even do it over here. I'm not sure. This is like, today's gonna be a lot of figuring this out. We're figuring this out on the fly. I want to build almost like a little teepee. You kind of lean them all in together, or lean-to, whatever, that the chickens can go over to and just have some cover. Okay, like that's kind of the idea. It doesn't need to be the most solid thing. Yeah, I think that's what I want to get done. You girls good? Hey, what's up, honey? What's up, girl? What's up? Where are you going? Oh, troublemaker. Okay. So anyways, that's the idea. So I'm gonna basically start just kind of stacking these up here. Some of them I'll have to clean up, but I want to leave the branches on there as much as I can. It's going to provide additional cover for them, just make them feel a little bit more comfortable when they're out. So no idea how this is going to go, folks. This is probably going to be an absolute train wreck, and it's probably going to be super entertaining for everyone that isn't me. Like I can see that. So real quick. All right. So, oh, hey, what's your trouble, you? Huh? Why are you getting all excited? So, all right, if I need this, it's right there. Okay. So, got this one, this one. Yeah, this will be good to kind of get the, I wonder if I just lay them up against the fence here. Maybe maybe I'm overthinking this, guys. Maybe it might be good if I just lay them against the fence. Because really, at the end of the day, I'm just trying to get a little spot where my chickens can kind of come and hang out. Right? So maybe I'll do that. We'll see. We're going to see what they like. So, hey, you guys think we got any eggs? Let's see if we got any eggs today. Let's see. Oh, there we go. All right. Dos huevos. Go us. Cool, we love that. All right, so what I'm gonna do, I think that's what I'm gonna try this. We'll see if the chickens, we'll give this a couple days and see if they actually go underneath here or not. Got some of my little pumpkins that they didn't really orange up in time, which is fine. But they'll orange up over the next little bit. So they'll be good for the neighborhood kids to kind of look and play after. Hey girls, I know. Give me a little space here. I want to get this guy off of here though. So if you guys haven't seen, a mammoth gray stripe sunflower before, this is what the head looks like. I mean, look at the size of that thing. We were looking at it on the last stream too. This thing's a monster. But let me. All right, let me just separate this guy here. There we go. Cool. Did you just? Oh man. All right, let's do this. Doesn't want to stick. So these were grown forever, like ever and a day out in the in people's gardens for sustainability reasons forever and a day. Because you can eat this whole thing. This whole thing is edible. But this one seed, this one gray seed here, right, grows 1,000. And what you can do with this one, these are all edible. You can roast these up with some salt and oil, will be great. But you can also press this to get out basically sunflower oil out of. And like I say, before these turn into full seeds like this, when they're just the flowers, you can actually eat this whole thing, slice it up like a cake. So sunflowers are vastly underutilized in our country, in the U.S. But they make all of these seeds here. So the chickens, they love them. So, anyways, one of the reasons I grow them too is that I'll actually just put them out so that way the birds can get them. That's during the winter months too. One of the other reasons that I grow as much stuff as I do is so we can make sure that the birds have access to all sorts of goodness for seeds. So like all my perennials that I grow, like in my garden. Yeah, I think this is the right play, guys. I'm just gonna lean this all up against here. I think it'll be great. I don't have to worry about the wind blowing it over because the wind's coming from this direction. It's not going to be able to blow them all over. And if it does, it's fine. But just put them back up again. It's for chickens, right? Not going to worry about it too much. But the birds, the finches and the blue jays. So here's this one is another type of sunflower that we have here. Let me show you the difference in the seeds here. So this is this sunflower that I grew is called a sunburst, and you see the difference in the seeds with this one. It's got these little dark seeds instead of like those gray ones, like these here. So you can just see the difference. See that? Because I'm looking at that gray one there, gray and white, and then right next to each other. You just see the difference there. And for the record, I haven't planted sunflowers in my garden in 2 years. I did my first year and I haven't planted them since. That's all. I never really kind of throw the seeds out like that, but the birds come through here and they're always chipping, chomping at them. They're dropping seeds everywhere. So next year I'm gonna have a whole bunch of sunflowers growing again, just because. Hey, honey, what you doing, girl? Yeah, I think they're gonna like this. I do. I think this is gonna be okay for them. I really do. So this one's a little bit shorter, which is fine. Just put them there. But hopefully everybody's having a good day here. Hopefully you guys are enjoying. I mean, again, garden stream is what it is. I can probably get this a little closer. You can kind of see the action. This is what we do here. We just come live out in the garden and we do things. Come on now. Trying to find a level spot here is always a tough one. Okay, cool. All right, ladies, give me a little room here. Thank you. So yeah. Now I know it seems a little bit odd here, but if you've had chickens before, they love to get underneath stuff. It's like their favorite thing is to find little spots to hide. So we're gonna load this up, especially over here. Let go. I'm gonna pull these out here. And then over the winter months, like this will self-select a lot of these. Like they'll thin out. And we'll just see how it does. This is an experiment. I have actual building materials if I need to get them, which we will have. Let go, guys. I know you guys can hear all sorts of activity because there's all sorts of activity going on here. There we go. An awful lot of sunflower heads going on. So, hey, Gail, how are you? Hey, you. Oh, Honey says hello. What's up, everybody? This is Honey Mustard. It's somehow relaxing. Yeah, well, that's the idea. You're in the garden. It's supposed to be in, we don't worry about stuff here, right? I mean, this is the one spot where so much of all this stuff is out of our control. I'm glad it's relaxing. And I would just ask if you're enjoying this, if you're enjoying the stream, chilling out with me, please make sure you give me a like, hit subscribe, share if you know some folks that you think could use some relaxation, I guess. So, all right. See these last. So this is a prime example of what I'm talking about here. All right. So I can't have these, but I just cleared out all of these as I'm clearing out the sunflower stalks that I had there. I can't eat these. These are all, but the girls, they found a spot to hide down in the back of that and lay some eggs. So there you go. That's over towards my compost pile. So we'll let the eggs compost over there. Girl, Honey, was that you? Is this where you were hiding? But I couldn't find Honey, that chicken the other day. She was MIA, like nowhere. I looked everywhere and I couldn't find her. So I thought that a hawk got her. That's what I was actually worried about. And then she showed up like perfect, cool. Then she showed up. I'm gonna move this over so you guys can see more of what I'm doing. Then she showed up like an hour later, like, hey man, I'm here, pay attention to me. Hey Mary, good to see you. So yeah, Honey like showed up and she's like, hey, I'm here. What are we doing? I'm like, I knew she was hiding somewhere. I just couldn't find her. Well, now I just found her hidden nest that she had. Okay, so next thing we're gonna do, now it's saving these for this. I didn't put this in my compost intentionally because I knew I was gonna do something like this. Wasn't sure what though. So this, this is all for my tomato vines. I just kind of saved them all. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of toss them up here a little bit, give a little bit more cover, and now I'm gonna put some more, pack them in like on the side around the edges over there to give it just a little bit more cover for my girls. Right? Just gonna make them feel a little bit safer when they're in here. Yes, honey, I see you. I got my honey mustard is one of the needier chickens. Like she likes a lot of attention. We'll say that. So all right. So hopefully this isn't too loud. I apologize if it is. So there's that. Cool. Oh yeah, they're gonna love this. Kind of show you guys what we got going on here. And as I get more stuff, we're gonna fill it out there. So I am in, yeah, I'm in West Michigan. So I'm like right here, right that area here. So it is, what is the temperature out right now? I don't know off the top of my head, but it is, it's a little chilly out today. We had a cold front come through, but it was 85 a couple days ago. So let's come down here and take a look. I'm going to swing the camera around on here. So it's good to see you, David. All right. So what we got here on my fence, got this little like lean-to here going. And down here, I've done, so I packed my tomato vines all along the side here. I'm going to work on filling up more stuff up here to kind of block it off a bit more. But I left this area down here where the chickens can come and kind of hang out and hide, right? So if I go, look, here's what they're seeing. They're like, this is cool. Nothing, no eagles coming to get us, right? So that's kind of the idea. And one of the things that I have you guys just keep in mind too, what's great about growing sunflowers, right, is you get, at the end of the season, you get bamboo. And that's really what this is. You get bamboo that is solid, that's gonna hold. Hey, where, what are you doing? What? Sorry, I just had one of my little chickens decide I wanted to do a little test flight around the run. Okay, so we're gonna go and let them kind of explore a little bit. Push this stuff up. See what they do here. Now what I'm gonna do also is I'm gonna end up putting some corn stalks, some other greenage, some stuff here to kind of block off this area. So there's really just one spot for them to come in. And we'll see how that does for them. You know what I mean? Like it's always kind of a, you know, we're figuring it out. So one thing for you guys that don't know, they're not really going to be much for eating this year, but this is what Brussels sprouts look like when they grow. For if anybody didn't know, they've got these. I'll pull one off here. There you go. So we got little baby Brussels sprouts that are popping up, the actual, you know, sprout right there. But this is what they look like. These are undersized. They're typically about yay big when I grow them. And they just have, and they are getting some here, but the chickens, obviously they're pecking at it. They're looking for treats too. So it's only going to get so big. So there's that. Okay. We're making good time today, guys. So let's go do a couple things here real quick. Wanted to be able to show here. So these are going to be moving right here. This is our my tomato trellises. They're getting it moved, and I'm actually going to put them over, going to pull them out of the ground here on another stream and move them and reposition them over where we were because the goal is going to be probably around March timeframe. I think that's probably fair. I'm going to have them over here, and they're going to get thick, clear plastic. I'm going to drape over all of these. My tomatoes are going to move there, but I'm going to use this as an extension for my greenhouse. And I have a whole bunch of lettuce and spinach and everything that we get started, and I grow out there too. So just give it a little extra cover to kind of help it out. It got crunchy this last year. I mean, I was out in March. That's pretty brave, I'm not gonna lie. But everything made it. Not everything. I lost like two plants that didn't make it. That's fine. Oh look. Oh look. Look what just showed up. Oh hey, in case. FYI, if you haven't so far. Okay, but no, seriously, if you wanna hang out and come on the streams where we're here in the garden, it'd be great. So other things I'm doing, right? For those folks that don't know, uh, the way that you can manage your garden too. Like I said, I always try to let things go to seed. Not everything, but I always try to have as much stuff go to seed. Good idea, smart. We had some kittens. A hawk had gotten them, but they're exactly. So you want to have stuff from cover. That's great. That's exactly why we're doing it. So I'm letting stuff go to seed, right, for a reason and mature, so that way I can harvest them. So just pull one up here. This is an older one that didn't go, but this is our summer squash. I don't know if you can see some of them. I've got some of the yellow summer squash. They're like 3 times the size of my forearm, right? Because I want them to get to this point where they're kicking out seeds that I can have and harvest for next year, right? So I'm not paying for, and I have a bunch, so I'm not having to pay for them. And if you've ever cleaned out a squash before, you've got like 20 packages worth of seeds in each one of these darn squash, so you just let them go. So I've got this one, which is squash or summer squash here, and they're huge. And I saved one zucchini under this. And by the way, these are my artichokes. Like I just grew these more for fun than anything. I guess it had funsies, right, to have them out there. And I'm not going to harvest them. We don't have enough time in the season. But I didn't realize that I was growing flipping aloe plants that were like they're going to be these monsters. So it is what it is. So additionally, one thing I recommend for everybody, if you don't grow it, it's not more so if you have the space, which I do, is this right here. So this is celery. Like I'm actually growing celery in here, and I am so happy I grew the celery this year. This stuff has just been, it's just great to have around to snack on. I'm a celery guy, but I just basically I threw like 500 seeds into a thing and just let them all grow up and like one big long planter, and then just dumped them in here. Never thinned them out because I don't care if I'm getting huge celery things. If I got a billion of them, it doesn't matter. But to have fresh celery in here, I didn't realize how much I was going to enjoy it. It's worth it, folks. So I want to talk to you about kind of what the strategy is going forward. One of the things that people don't spend enough time on, and I'm going to put this over here so I can kind of show you this here, is the people spend a lot of time thinking about the layout for their garden when they do it. What they don't do is think about their garden rotation. That is extremely important. That's one of the bigger problems that you have control over and you can manage, and you should, for disease purposes, also just for growth reasons. I'm going to explain what I mean here. So this spot where I'm at right here, see this, I haven't had anything in here for a little bit. I think I got some radishes that are left. Let's see if I can find a radish in here. Oh, I got an old beet that's right here. I don't know if I have any radishes left or not. Maybe not. But anyways, I had radishes in here, carrots, turnips, bunch of beets and things like that. Once I got them out, I basically took I didn't want to plant anything else. I want to give it a chance to rest a little bit. And I basically just covered up everything with grass clippings. Just put it out here, and just so it can kind of not have anything growing for a little bit. You always need to make sure your grass, pumpkins, I already grew pumpkins. They're out and they're out front. Yes, I did grow pumpkins. Yeah, I think I got like 6 this year, and they were fun, like surprise pumpkins too, which is always great. It's my favorite actually, or surprise. A lot of my plants I grow are surprises. So anyways, so this section that I have right here, it is, it doesn't get a lot of sun. It does get sun, but my house is right here and it blocks a big portion of sun. It loses like 2 hours of sun compared to most of the other parts of the garden. So things that grow here, if they need an extended growing period, don't do well. Tomatoes are shortened. Cucumbers don't grow here. There's just a lot of stuff that doesn't grow well here. What does grow well here, though, are root vegetables and things that we talked about there. The radishes, your, again, turnips, your beets, carrots, parsnips. They all grow great here. So this is actually that patch this is where I grow the stuff into. So I like to kind of give it a chance to breathe a little bit. It's first thing in the spring, though. I'm going to have for this next year, and the way that I'm going to be managing things, big portion of this entire property is going to be, this section is going to be beets and cucumbers and everything across the board. And then rotate them out for the summer stuff here. Morning leaf tree commitments are good. Absolutely. Thank you for that. So yeah, there are great things that are really fantastic for those. I actually have for my neighbors. You can see all those trees. I don't have a lot of trees on my property, but my neighbors do. And they let me have all their leaves. So I actually have a metric ton of leaves that I put over there, and I compost a ridiculous amount of everything. So I have 4 huge, like 4x4 compost bins that are going, and this gets covered in compost in the beginning of the year, because they're loaded up. They're going to be doing their thing throughout the winter and then into the spring. And then that first little spring warm up, I let everything get going, and then we're going to spread compost all over this entire thing on top of, which is going to be great. They love it. It works well. So yes, 100%. We love tree stuff there. Okay, so with this, so this is going to move this section here. These are going to move out of here. I'm going to pop them out. They're buried in there. They're not like permanently in there. Lift the whole structure up, and we're going to move them down to this other spot for my tomatoes. My tomatoes are going to be in the back part of the garden this year. Okay, so we're going to place them there for disease control, and we're going to move beans, string beans, black beans, beans, and over here in this area, pretty much along this whole thing, because I found out my neighbors, they really, really, really like green beans. Every time I put green beans out on in the vegetable stand, they were gone. I mean, sometimes I barely even got back here to reload, go back up, and they were gone again. So learned that one, and they really liked them. So again, if they're going to eat them, we love that for them. So we're going to have that. But then the rest of it's just going to go into rotation too. So, but with that, there's prep that's involved, right? So like for here, this section that has, let's go over here. Man, I got another egg that showed up. Man, these girls are just, they've got a chicken coop. They should be just laying eggs in there. I don't, troublesome. See, got another egg. Leave me little presents everywhere. So, here we go. All right, so the eggs are gone. Anyways, so what's going to end up here, right across this whole section, once I get these out of here, we're going to take grass clippings and leaves and compost, and I'm just going to completely cover this whole thing. Let it go for the winter. The chickens are going to be here doing their thing as well, which is why I have the chickens in here running around in the garden, and my coop and my run is in here. Guess what the chickens are doing the whole time when I let them loose in here? They're putting fertilizer everywhere and helping control some of the bug population here. But this whole thing is going to get covered like 3 times over. Let it go for the winter, and then in the spring I use, and again, if you guys subscribe and you're following along here, I come through here with I have a broad fork. I don't actually till anything. So I come through and if you haven't seen a broad fork before, go look at some other videos, you'll find them. You'll have to search through my business videos. This channel has 2 things on it. It has business coaching, and then it also has my garden stuff. I should have 2 channels, but whatever. Anyways, go through there and you're actually able to, I lift up the soil and then it comes back down. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of breaking up the soil a little bit to allow channels for water, for air, and nutrients to get into the soil, because the bacteria and the bugs that the bacteria and that are in the soil, they're aerobic bacteria, the good ones, so they need oxygen. But when you lift this stuff up, it also allows that compost and the stuff that over the winter broke down, it allows it to fall into the soil. So now we're getting more organic matter into the soil, which makes it awesome. And you end up with this stuff here, this nice solid, but you can see where it comes together, but it also crumbles apart. That's what you want to have. You don't want anything that's like too much clay, which I do have clay in here. And that's one of the things that we're working on, is breaking up this clay, which is why I love the sunflowers, because they get in deep and they are breaking up that soil as well. So, okay. Last things I got to get here, last bit as we walk along here, you'll see my corn is basically about done. And I grow this corn for a couple things, mostly for decoration. I grow it for decoration. These end up around my front front of my house. You know, just for fall, for Halloween and everything. That's why I grow them. We don't really bring. Their sweet corn is so cheap around here, and it grows everywhere. I can pick up sweet corn anytime I want, at least and it's in season, and it's like 25 cents. So there's no real. The only reason this exists and I do this is because this is all going to come down for for up front. But what I like to do though, also, the girls, my chickens really like it. Like to get the corn. Now you can see, end up being pretty good. And you can see where it's drying out. So this stuff, if I wanted to, I could be saving these. One of these I probably will say. Oh, hey, oh. Sorry, honey scared me. She actually startled me a little bit. Let's come down and hang out. So I'm gonna end up saving one of these. I'm gonna hang it upside down and just let it dry out, and then I'll reuse it again in the year. So, hey, you, what's up? You heard, honey? Did you hear the corn? This is good. Gotta love her. She heard the corn, so she came running. Look at, oh, got any more? So she's the only one. This is the smartest of the chickens, by the way. Is that good? There you go. But you can see they ended up being pretty solid. The corn. Hey, can I just talk to people for a second? Would that be okay? Can I do that, please? Thank you. There you go. Come on. There we go. Now turn this into eggs, okay? You've been slacking on me lately. And make sure you lay them in the coop, okay? There we go. All right, good stuff. Hey, girls, you guys want some? Come here, girls. Anything? No? Okay, you got to be full. How can you not be full yet? Let's get a couple more in here. There we go. Okay, all right. These chickens never cease to amaze me with how much they can eat. Anywho, all right, sorry about that, guys. Honey decided she wanted to join the show. Okay, so anyways, I'm gonna end up saving one of the, at least one of these, maybe two. We're gonna hang them up in my garage. Hang them, let them dry out over the winter. Hey, KK, what's happening? You just missed Honey. Did you hop in? Were you able to see? Sorry, my daughter just jumped in the chat. Did you see Honey in there chomping on some corn? She was eating a ton here. So anyways, I'm gonna end up saving. Oh, good, you saw her. Good. There's a few of these, and I'll just replant these. Gonna find a spot. So yeah, no, it does look good. I mean, it tastes terrible. It's too old right now, but it looks good. So other things that I just want to talk to you guys about is really what you can find things to do with and grow within your garden. Find things that are perennial to be able to grow. So this is rosemary. I'll get you guys a little closer here. Oops, sorry. So this is my rosemary, right? And I've got a few of these growing. But it's a perennial. Like it's a pine tree. Okay. So one of the things I just want you to keep in mind here is that it doesn't always have to be annuals in your garden. More things you can grow that'll just keep growing and be fine. It's like this will be fine this winter. I'm just gonna kind of cover up portions of it with some leaves. But as long as it doesn't, by the way, this smells amazing too. I love having fresh herbs in the garden. It's so good. But your ability to be able to just have these things and let them go is really important. So I highly recommend, if you can find it. Like this guy was little when I got him this year. He was just a little guy, about yay big. How much growth we've had here. So I've got this. I've got some oregano, a ton of oregano growing. Let me go grab that real quick. Which the chickens don't really like to eat too much oregano. I wish they liked to eat it more. Like I said, I would love it if they, I'm trying to pre-season my chickens for stew later. You know what I mean? But you got some, I got this oregano, which I've got tons of this already dried out, like put through the dehydrator and ready to go. But it's just, it's ready and available. And earlier when we were on the stream, we were I was talking about my basil, right? This is my basil bush. Look at this monstrosity, right? And what you do, if you guys don't know how to do this, I'm going to show you. All I did, by the way, fresh basil is so good. So this is what immature. I don't have dill. I don't have dill growing. It doesn't. This time of year, it's already been done. I don't have dill. but I love dill. It's really good. So this is what an immature basil flower looks like. See if I can, and you'll see, I don't know if you guys can see, but there's some white. I'm not too worried about it here. When they start getting mature, see how big they get? They got those little white, delicate white flowers on there. So what you want to do, if you want to get, like this thing, this basil monstrosity here is from one just regular basil that you see growing everywhere. So what you want to do, see that right there? You're just going to take this whole section right there and you're going to pull that right off. Pull the whole flower off. And what ends up happening is it'll branch off and grow more basil this way. It'll go through another cycle and then you'll get another set of flowers. Guess what you do? Take all those flowers off and it'll just keep on growing and expanding here. Doesn't need much sun. That's a tough one. Let me think. I mean, I'll be honest with you. If you can get basil anywhere near like a window, even if it doesn't have a whole bunch of direct sunlight, it'll grow. It's one of their thyme is another one. German thyme. German thyme. Make sure you get that. German thyme really doesn't need a lot of. It likes full sun, but it doesn't necessarily need it, and it's really good in your like containers as well too. Oregano does okay, but basil, thyme. Yeah, I think oregano likes a lot of full sun though too. But the mint, but be careful with mint. The thing to keep in mind, like oregano is a perennial, just FYI. Mint is a perennial. Thyme is a perennial. They're weeds, technically. So just understand when you grow them, you're gonna get a lot. And cilantro needs a lot of sun. It needs a lot of attention because the coriander plant, which is where cilantro comes from, it's once it gets established, it's fine. But man, it is a pain in the rear to really get going. You've really got to it's got to have sun, heat, water, but not too much water, not too much heat. But once you get it up and running, once it gets established, it'll grow. But it takes a lot. So like Kayla, where you're at, I would grow your cilantro actually out front. I'd put it in a container under your front porch. That's where we're at. So, by the way, Michaela, when I'm talking, everyone who's around here, Michaela is my daughter. That's how I know where she lives. I don't know where every one of you viewers live and kind of where you're at. So, God, I just love basil. It's so good. Anyways, so I'm letting all this flower, so it's going to go to seed, and then I get all these seeds. They're going to go in the freezer, and then we're going to be growing basil. Starting basil in the noted. Yes, take notes, lady. And we're going to be doing this in the greenhouse as well throughout the year. Last couple things here before we kind of wrap up. I did have a question about someone asked about pumpkins, so I thought I'd move over here and just kind of grab this for you. These are like the last of my pumpkins that really didn't grow all that well, but they're here. So I thought I'd just say, hey, these guys are going to start oranging up a little bit, and they're just going to, I'll put them around to look. Oh, actually, one more thing, and then it's going to be time to go. I've got, when I mentioned beans, this is what I recommend you do, and I'm going to be doing this here later this year. So, oh, hey, awesome. That's great. Buffalo, New York. Oh yeah, you guys get all the snow. I'm over here complaining about snow. Buffalo, good Lord, you get like 200 feet of snow a year? You're on the other side of Erie. My goodness. So, so with this, beans. Beans are your best friend in the garden. If you are having a hard time growing like you're getting any sort of traction in your garden, like if you need to help on your soil health, beans are the way to go. And here's what I did this year, and I do this every year. I go to the store and I buy a $2 bag of black beans, or you can buy the bean soup bag for like $3, whatever. But I just get these like $2 bag, $1.50 for these, right? The black, right? And you do this. You throw them everywhere, and just let them grow, right? They don't hurt anything. What they do is they fix their nitrogen fixers. Was what they do. They go down in the roots that they have. They have nodules in there where they take nitrogen from the air and they turn it into fertilizer for your plants. They're amazing. So my recommendation, I throw every year. We just throw beans everywhere. So we got here last year from Ruby. What I got last year? I had garden. I grew green beans near my basil. We had the infused basil. Oh, I know. Yeah, isn't this what a wonderful plant? We we don't deserve. We do actually no. We do deserve this wonderfulness that is basil. It is such a good plant. Oh, I got, and then over here too. I got next to my basil, are my peas, my sweet peas, and it's the same thing here. I just toss those peas wherever they're at and let them do their thing. So, all right, folks. Well, that is what I've got for today. Again, hopefully you guys, enjoyed the actual stream here. Again, we're going to do more and more stuff out here in the garden, out in the greenhouse. It's going to be a full year. So again, if you haven't, oh yeah, no, listen, David, I appreciate that. I get a lot of my stuff from experience, but also I research everything. So, and I also don't know much. I'm learning every year, just like everyone else. So that's what I love doing this, because especially on the stream, I get educated from the folks that are on here. So as you guys have information, I love to hear it. So with that, what I'd like for y'all to do is, if you haven't liked already, please do hit that thumbs up. Give me a like on your way out. I'd appreciate it. Share if you know anybody, and then also if you haven't subscribed, please do. I definitely would appreciate it. All right, folks, take care. We'll see you next time.